Here we are.
All right. Welcome back to Unscripted Strength, another podcast. I am one of the hosts, Ethan, and this is the
Day.
other host. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a couple things to go over. Obviously, the most obvious one is you have to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. We're pretty much the coolest people you'll ever listen to. Dr.
Don't
Day.
even don't even I'm not even, like, scratching the surface of being done. No,
Almost
not
Dr.
even.
Day here. And my dumbass, dude. No, we like doing this. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Leave us comments, please, with any questions you have. We'll answer them, whether it be about fitness or anything we've done or whatever the fuck you want to ask us. It will be great. Normally, we kick this off with talking about our training. Last time we went crazy, and I don't think we did that for like
Yeah.
30 minutes. So the question stands. Day, how's your training going from when we talked
Good.
last?
I think when we talked last, I was talking about how, like, I felt better since, school was done and all that, and it's been, like, uphill since. So, like, everything's feeling good. Like, my easy runs are staying in zone 2. My resting heart rate is dropping in the, like, 40s, early 50s. Like, it went from being, like, 68 consistently towards the end of the semester to, like, it just, like, plummeted down now. So, it's kinda cool to see, right? Because it's something we always tell people and all that. Like, "Hey, when you're stressed, your body's gonna respond to it, blah, blah, blah," but then when you go through it, you still
Yeah.
try to plow through.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what I tried to do, and I was able to plow through, but I wasn't successful in keeping my fitness because my fatigue masked it so much. So now it's like I feel
Yeah.
so good, like, constant, like, the resting heart rate is just one piece of the puzzle, one, like, piece of evidence that I'm feeling good, but, like, subjectively too, like, I'm feeling great. My training has been, like, on top, like, just, like, on top of, like, I would say pretty peak right now, I feel like, and yeah, like, when I run, I could run hard and not feel like I'm dying. I could run easy and have it feel easy. Uh, no aches or pains. Yeah, I feel stronger. I have, like, a desire to train more where, like, before it was kinda like, "I gotta do it, so I'm going to do it." But I wasn't like my
Mhm.
desire for training wasn't as high as it normally is. It was, like, pretty low compared to, like, what it normally is, so that feels nice too, so, yeah. What about yours?
So all around their training's going good. Mine's, Day. We're talking about you. We're not talking about my training right now,
I
Day.
know you
That's
did the Murph
crazy.
yesterday.
Wait, I have some questions for you
Okay, okay,
about your
okay.
training. What is one piece of your workouts that goes against some of the like scientific advice that you give out to people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where in your workouts are you suboptimal because or doing something and maybe you're not, but doing something because the vibes are right. You know what I'm saying?
I think I don't do this as much with lower body because I don't want to, but for upper body, I have a desire to go to failure on everything. So, like, I do a ton of AMRAP sets, I do a ton
Yeah.
of volume. So, I don't have, like, a smart progression for a lot of my upper body movements. It's like,
Mhm.
"Hey, just go until failure at a certain weight or go as heavy as you can repeatedly." And, like, not that I think it's bad because I do think, like, training hard like, for a GPP person, just going balls to the wall as much as you
Mhm.
can is beneficial. For athletes and those more in the performance space, there has to be a little bit more consideration for, everything else that they do and where they have to perform. But I think that's one because, like, I'll do it, and then, like, for example, this morning, I did, 4 sets of an AMRAP of dumbbell bench, which I posted on my story,
I
and,
saw
like,
that.
there was a
Mhm.
point after the 2nd set where, like, my tricep was feeling cranky, and it was like when they say, like, "Hey, if something's pop if, like, you feel a pop or crack, but there's no pain associated with it, you're pretty good." Mine was, like, popping, cracking, I started getting pain, but I was like, "Well, I got 2 more sets, so I'm gonna do those 2 more sets." I didn't drop weight, and I didn't adjust the number of sets. I was like, I'm still gonna do 4. Would I tell someone to
Mhm.
do that? No, that's not something I would probably say, especially since there's pain associated with that, but vibes were
Sure.
good, and I was feeling good, so, yeah.
Mhm.
And my tricep feels good right
I
now.
love that. Yeah, dude, sometimes I feel like with stuff like that, especially AMRAP stuff, or like, yeah, like as you get into like, I guess also
Mhm,
like pump work, like I don't think what you're doing was trying to chase a pump, but you're certainly getting a
mhm,
huge pump when you're doing 4 AMRAPs. But I feel like I've gotten to a point where similarly, and I don't know if this is what you were feeling, but like you get such a pump in your tricep from doing that much pressing that it's like almost like constricting where the nerve goes. And then I start to get like a ping in through my pinky. It's like as I'm pushing so much and there's so much
yeah,
blood in my arms, it literally
like
is
a compression.
like I get yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
compressing the nerve in my elbow, and then obviously I'm like, wow, that's so
Yeah,
sick. I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, that's I think I have the exact same problem that you have where people are like, well, I give people advice, and then when I go train, I'm like, I'm taking every set as close
yeah.
as I can to failure because
I
the
remember
body's
you
so
did
matching.
something like that in one of our earlier episodes, you were talking about your squat sets that you were doing where you kinda just, like, did, like, 2 sets of at a very low relative weight for you, and then you jumped to, like, 405, which was, like, your all-time max, if I'm not mistaken, and you just
Mhm.
went for it, which, like, obviously, I know you would give, like, other ad and you mentioned this in the episode, you would give advice to someone to take a more, like,
Mhm.
conservative approach. Yeah, a
Structured it all.
structured conservative approach versus just going like, "Okay, now I'm gonna jump 100 pounds to my one rep max of all time." Right, so, yeah, I think we do that a lot, and I think that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, now I think part of that too is like, I think as coaches we get to
Mhm,
experiment a little bit. There's like stuff, like you learn about like the technical way things should be done and like sets and volume and junk volume and like fatigue and fatigue management and I don't know. That stuff's all good and like you should follow that most of the time, I think. But I don't know. It's just like n- it's like I want to fuck around and like do a bunch of different things myself so that like I think because we program for like a pretty wide population of people. I can kind of cover a lot of bases, like I've done quite a few, like a lot of strength programs and more hypertrophy programs and like things where I'm really focused on like high mobility work, like not like a bunch of stretching and shit, but like loaded deficit work, which is like the primary part. Like I'll do like block style workouts, but the blocks are different, like
mhm,
kind of weird and like don't really make sense. Like if you looked at it in like a structured perspective and you're like, what is this person training for? You'd be like, I have no fucking idea. And that's correct. Like I'm not really training for anything. I'm just like kind of training to be a well-rounded and understanding of the things. And I don't really like programming shit that I haven't tried. So then it's like, yeah, I think if you went back and looked at like my last year's history of working out, you'd be like, literally, what is happening? And I would agree with you.
yeah,
I have no idea. Other than I'm just testing shit out and seeing how I like it, which is like probably the reason like I'm mediocre at a lot of things in terms of like an athlete, but that's not really like my big focus is not being high performer on anything right
mm,
now. You know what I'm saying? Like as an athlete, like our High Rocks event, I wish I had done better, but it is what it is. And I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, dumb shit like that. Dumb shit like that 405 squat. I think I failed it the first time I did that. And then the second time when I hit it, I did the same thing. I think I jumped like, fuck this. I'm not doing another one
yeah,
rep set. I feel great. And I did it. So, and I'm here
there you
and
go,
die. Whatever.
there you go, and then you did the Murph yesterday.
But yeah, how's my training? My training's terrible. True transparency here. I started a new antidepressant, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. Shout out to depression. And it made me nauseous as fuck. So I hadn't like really worked out super hard in, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks or something. And then I'm finally starting to feel better. Like end of last week, I did a couple runs. I felt good. And then I realized over the weekend that Murph is on Monday, and I have told a bunch of people that I'm doing this. And, like, I told my buddy Jose I'm doing it, and he's like, I think you met Jose.
Mhm,
He was there last time. The big, I was gonna say something stupid. Never mind. The big handsome army boy, and that's not what I was gonna call him. Anyway, Now I'm distracted. So I had committed to a few people that I'm doing this Murph. This is very in depth on how my brain has been. I know I'm fucked from this Murph if I do this. Like it's over. I haven't worked out in like 3 weeks. I haven't like last year I was doing pull ups and push ups, and like I squat way too much anyway. So the squats I'm always like that's easy. But I've run a lot more since last year, and I was excited for that. So like even over the weekend when I realized I had a Murph to do on Monday, I was like, oh, the run's gonna feel great, which I was excited for. So anyway, I get to Monday morning, Jose texts me like Sunday night, and I was like, he goes, we're doing the Murph at 9 a.m. I was like, oh, this motherfucker remembered. Because to be honest, full transparency here, I was waiting for Jose to bail on me so I could be like, you know what? That's it, dude. He's out. I'm out. Well, I don't need to do this. So he texts me Sunday and is like, we've got this thing. And I was like, oh, yes, we have this thing. I wake up Monday and dude, I'm dreading this. I'm like, I'm just not in the
Yeah.
fucking mood. But I know because how my sad boy brain works. I need to get back into working out. Sometimes I have to like grab the shifter with two hands and just knock it into gear and just fucking go, or I'll just sit in a
Mhm.
cave and be sad. So, and of course, like what a great way to come back to working out than a full Murph without a vest because I'm a baby. And he texts me Monday morning and he goes, "It's at 9, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's bailing. This is fucking perfect, dude. I'm saved." And I go, "Yeah, why?" Because I'm like, "Come on, come on, come on. I'm about to leave. Please tell me you're bailing." It's like 8 o'clock. The Murph's at 9. And he's like, "Fuck." He's working in like Texas right now. And he lives here too. And he's like, "Oh, I forgot my whole gym bag in Texas. So I have Vans." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, thank you. Baby Jesus, I'm saved, dude. I am saved from this." So he texts me back and goes, "Just kidding. I found shoes at my mom's
No.
house. I'm on my way." And I was like, I literally hate my life. This is gonna be awful. Cause now I can't bail.
Yeah,
There's no way I can bail. Because he's like not in town ever. I don't get to see him often, and I know the wrath I will face from him if I
that is
bail on him.
insane.
It's just not gonna happen.
You were so close.
So I dude, I was so close I was so close to being a chicken shit baby. I wanted it so badly. Anyway, I drive there and then, I'm like amped up now. Like it hits me like it's one of those things where I just like I have to accept what I'm doing. Oh my God, is there an
There
animal
is.
in your room?
Hold on, can you see him in the corner?
Yes. My God. Anyway, everyone, that's our manager. He's just making sure we stay on task here. Ozzy's just making sure we're good to go. Okay, so I roll the block. I'm like amped up at this point, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I didn't tell you. So, did I tell you I fucked my neck
You
up
told me
sleeping?
that last week. And then I was
Yes.
like, "Oh,
Okay,
man, the
dude.
Murph's gonna be fun."
I wake up. I'm not joking. I'll demonstrate. This is my left over here. I could look totally normal. My right, that was it. That's what I had. Like 15 degrees. I couldn't look over my shoulder to drive, and I couldn't look up at the ceiling without this like searing pain from like the top of my head into my trap, into my shoulder blade. Awful. So my neck already hurts. I'm trying to bail, dude. My neck hurts. Jose's being fucking dumb and decides to do this thing. So I have to grow up and do this. So I show up and I'm trying to find any way out of this, dude. I'm being such a fucking baby. And I'm like, I'm gonna go do some like shakeout runs real quick. Like I'm got some time. I'm gonna go run some fucking, down and back. So it was like a quarter mile. I take off for the first run, and every time I fucking land on my foot, dude, I can feel like this ice pick in my neck, and I'm like, God, this is gonna be awful. I do two of those, and then I was just like, you know what? We're done. I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna warm up anymore. Back to what we were just talking about with like sometimes we do dumb shit. I was like, I need to just stop. Like, I am looking for every fucking way out of this. I'm being such a chicken shit right now. And then I just waited. I literally just stood there. Dude, the worst customer service I've ever had in my life. And I wasn't working. I was there for the Murph, but people were like asking me questions and I'm just like not. I'm just not there. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I had a my Coors Light t-shirt on,
Yeah.
that blue one. And I'm just, like, walking around outside. Everyone's inside, I'm just outside pacing like a crazy person.
Jeez. But you finished it.
Anyway, I'm in a fine mood. Yeah. I go back in, we start the Murph, I took off, I ended up doing the mile at, like, 8:50 or something, and then just literally limped through the workout. Like, I did instead of doing it what is it called, Cindy, where you
Mhm.
break it up into a chipper? I just did it
Oh, you
straight
did it
through. I don't know
unpartitioned.
why, it's the first time I've
Okay. That's
yeah,
a
it
whole
sucked, it
different
was the
ball
worst thing,
game
it's a
too.
terrible I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I'll be honest, I had no idea. I learned that
Yeah.
mid-Murph, I learned that not doing Cindy is a
Yes.
choice. Yeah, so I didn't chip it, I just did as many pull-ups, I did, like, 20 sets of 5, give or take, I would do, like, 5s and 10s. About halfway through the pull-ups, every time I got to the bottom, it felt like my armpit was being pulled out
Yeah.
of my body. Yeah, and then my arms yeah, dude, it was great. It was fucking sick. That's my story. That's how my
That
training's
is
going.
insane. So you did the Murph, now you're wrecked for the next few days.
Yeah, yes, I did the Murph yesterday. I woke up this morning at 2 o'clock on the dot, the most sore I've ever been in my whole life with my entire upper back in a spasm, and I went to bed at 10. So I slept for 4 hours last night,
Jeez.
and then just, like, cramped. My body was like, "Remember that dumbass shit you did earlier?
Yeah.
Here's your punishment." And it was like I know this is long-winded, but it was like one of those, like, you know when you wake up in the middle of the night, your brain's, like, still kind of asleep and you're thinking
Yeah.
weird things? I woke up at 2 and was like, "I have rhabdo. It's all over. I'm literally dying." And then laid there in bed for, like, 20 minutes, kind of nauseous, being like, "I think I'm gonna get up right now, I'm just gonna piss out blood. It's gonna be super cool." And then I got up and peed, and I
You
was
know
fine.
what? That's a good point. How many people do you think get rhabdo from the Murph every year?
Every year from Murph? I don't
I
know,
bet,
probably
because
quite a
people
bit.
just go in without, like, any training. At least you have, like, a level of, like,
Well,
right,
yeah.
fitness, but, like, people
Yeah.
literally just go in and they're just like, "Send it." And then they'll
Mhm.
go, like, vested too. So I'm curious. There has to be some level, even if it's small, it's still something. Yeah.
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 Yeah, a lot. An amount that's scary to be
I
like,
know,
"Oh,
I
I
like
have
the scary
rhabdo."
thing.
'Cause, like, I feel like that person's never working out again, like, they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm done. That's it. I'm not doing that ever again."
But
So, yeah, that's how my training's going. It's been pretty great. Is it Mental Health Month?
is
Is that
it
what it is this
is
month?
that what
Let's see. When's Men's Sad Boy Month? Oh, it's June. Alright, so we're a little early, but, shout out to depression, you know? That shit's pretty cool, honestly. If any of you dealing with depression, call someone. Do something about it. Nothing to be ashamed of. We've all dealt with it.
Yeah.
What's my good advice for that? Suck it up. Don't be such a baby. Go do a
Yeah,
Murph.
do that. That's a good way to solve that issue. Bury yourself in something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's probably a good idea, dude. Yeah, ignore it.
Yeah.
Completely ignore it.
No,
Don't
no,
do
no.
anything about it. Just see how long you
How
can sit
strong
in
are
your
you?
hips. Yeah, seriously. Do a weighted Murph
Yeah.
every day. Idiot,
There was
maybe.
someone who did that. There was,
Yeah, it's like 100 days of
something,
Murph,
yeah.
right?
You know, is it Matt Choi? And then I think now he does, like, marathons and he does endurance stuff, but I think that's how he started, if I'm not mistaken. He's,
I think
like,
you're
social media influencer type.
maybe. I know Alec Blennis holds the current world record for a standard Murph, unpartitioned. For anyone wondering if you're listening, a Murph is you run 1 mile, and then there's 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 bodyweight squats, and then you run a mile. And traditional is with a 20-pound weight vest. And the world record's held by Alec
Mhm.
Blennis at 32 minutes and 41 seconds, which is crazy. Crazy. That's what most people run a 5K in, and he's doing 2 miles plus 100 pull-ups, 200
How
push-ups,
long did
300
it
squats. So if you ever feel
how
like
long did it take you to
huh?
do the middle portion, the calisthenics portion?
Let's see. Let's see. 56 minutes. Forever.
Okay.
I did it about an hour. Yeah. 50 minutes. Yeah. That sounds right. Dude, I was just cooked, 3 weeks off and no practice for it is just
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, for
terrible.
sure. It's not something to take lightly. I'm looking at this thing of this guy who did 30 Murphs in 30 days, so once per day. But his thing
Yes,
is
dude.
he, like, tracked all his metrics. So he did, like, an experiment on himself,
Mhm.
which is kinda cool.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it. It doesn't seem like there was anything significant from doing that, though. Like like,
What
it
do you
doesn't
mean?
look like his metrics really changed much. I'm just skimming through it right now.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, the fatigue must be crazy. Like, you're not what did you say earlier? Your fatigue is masking your
Yeah.
fitness? That I mean, there's no way, you
Yeah,
know?
I do.
Like, could you recover from that? A Murph every day? The volume is just the
Yeah.
running is inconsequential,
I think it also
but
depends, like, what type of training people do, because I do think there's, like, a good portion
yeah,
of people who do this, like, either CrossFit style or a lot of body weight stuff where, like, it's not a lot. Because if, for example, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 100 pull-ups really isn't I don't know, right? It's hard for me to say without doing it every day for 30 days. So maybe I should just do it every day for
yeah,
30 days and report back.
that's not a
Yeah.
bad idea. Well, the impressive thing was Tyler, our
Mhm.
new coach at the gym. He did the full Murph, I think, just under an hour, no kipping
Yeah.
pull-ups at all. Did 50 strict pull-ups with his vest on, and then 50
Yeah.
strict pull-ups afterwards. Which, like, I know most like, all these records, like, all these are with
Yeah.
kipping pull-ups. Or was it
Uh,
butterfly or kipping?
the
Kipping?
kipping is where you're going like this, and butterfly is where you're doing, like, the
Back
fulls
and forth.
the
But yeah, butterfly. Most people do butterfly when they're
right.
doing Murphs. And I always find it impressive when someone is a fucking crazy person and does full
Yeah.
strict pull-ups. And it's just dog
I've,
behavior.
always respect people who do the full strict
Yeah.
pull-ups. It's just I don't know, I like it more. But that being said, kipping pull-ups and butterfly pull-ups were always a weakness of mine when I did CrossFit. It's like they are hard to
Really?
do. Like, yes, they make pull-ups easier, obviously, because there's momentum part of it, but the
Yeah.
skill side of doing it is not like an easy thing to grasp. Like, when you're trying to find, like,
Yeah.
efficient ways to do it, it's so that you can, let's say, do a Murph in under 35 minutes or in under 40 minutes, and inevitably you have to start either kipping or butterfly. It's like it is not like, stringing them together and having that fluid movement, there is a lot of, like, body awareness that goes into it, butterfly especially. So, yeah, it was weird because right, I went into CrossFit, like, being able to do a lot of pull-ups. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna do much like, I was stayed away from it. Then once I realized, like, okay, I need to do it if I wanna, like, do competitions and, like, keep up. So then I started learning, thinking it was gonna be easy, and it was gonna be, like, a very easy thing to pick up. That took forever for me to learn. Like, it was just not an easy thing, and, like, doing it right and doing it in a way where, like, you weren't hurting your shoulders when you were, like, just sometimes
Mhm.
people go and they do the movement and they just kinda drop in the bottom, like, third of the position, so they just kinda, like, let the momentum, like, and gravity pull them down versus, like, having control through the whole thing. So, yeah.
That's what I was
So,
saying.
yeah, I've always hated kipping and butterfly pull-ups for that reason because I thought they were gonna be easy,
Yeah.
but they were not.
That's a interesting one. Just like sports specific movements, I think that people call cheating, like everyone calls sumo
Yeah,
deadlifts
yeah,
cheating. You know what I'm saying? So for anyone listening, they're not cheating. It's just a different
yeah.
movement. It's like I think all movements are like apples and oranges. Like every single movement, you can't really
Mhm.
compare too much to the next because they're just different movements. Like yeah, I don't know. It's just like I think people commonly are like, oh, these stupid kipping pull-ups. Why not do real pull-ups? And it's like if you're doing the balance beam, you wouldn't be like, oh, why not do whatever shit you do in gymnastics. Why not do the other thing? It's like because I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they're all different. Like if you want to do strict pull-ups, do strict pull-ups. And I bet someone, who practices pull-ups a lot get good at those, just like if you practice kipping pull-ups a lot, you get good at those. Also, I've never, these CrossFit athletes that are like really good, are always jacked and they do a fuck ton of kipping pull-ups.
Yeah.
So like, what is it a moral superiority we're getting out of this by doing
I know.
strict pull-ups only,
I
dog?
know.
No, I get it. I'm a troll. I understand. I understand it. Okay, I
Mhm.
have a question for you. Because I saw this online the other day and I'm curious what your answers are. You have to pick 5
Okay.
exercises you can do for the rest of your life. Only these
Okay, and
exercises.
it's just for me, right? Like, stuff that I wanna
Mhm.
do for the rest of my life, not like stuff I would
Yeah,
prescribe.
yeah, yeah, just for you, just for day.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Oh my god, that'd be crazy
Okay, let
too.
me write this down because I had this conversation yesterday with Marley, where I was like, "This movement I will always do for my whole like, the rest of my life, and
I'm
now
in
I'm
your head.
blanking on what movement
I'm inside your
now I'm
brain.
blanking on what movement it is. Oh, I know.
Oh, and maybe yeah, you can also do 5 exercises you can like you oh no, I have a different question for that. Never mind. Just
Okay.
do for you.
'Kay. There's I'm blanking on the I'm trying to think of the last one.
It's always interesting to hear where people's
Okay.
brains go with this, you know?
Alright. Sweet. Do you have your list?
The worst is when you start,
Okay, we'll
"Fuck
start
no,
writing
dude."
your list. Mine is first one's gonna be well, in no particular order, but if you want me to put them in order, then I would need another minute for that. But RDLs, I'm always gonna have an RDL in there, preferably dumbbell, barbell, so I can load it up heavier. Just because it's an easy one. Like with dumbbells, like your limiting factor is gonna be the grip. You can use straps, but eventually the dumbbells get so clunky. Let's say whatever you want to go like a small weight up, it's kind of hard with dumbbells. RDLs is just a lot easier. With barbells it's a lot easier, so barbell RDLs.
Mhm,
Second one, I don't think any of these are going to be surprising though. Dips.
mhm.
I'm gonna have dips in
Yeah,
there. Weighted,
a
unweighted,
whore for
wide,
dips,
not wide, fat, like yeah,
all the
all the variations,
variations.
fast, tempo, a hold at the bottom, all of that. I just really like that movement. I think if you're trying to hit like all the pushing muscles, like that's the one I would go for. I would do like the rest of my list. There's no benching, there's no dumbbell benching, there's none of that, no other pushing. Like that's the one I would do.
Just
Yeah,
dips. Hell
it's
yeah.
that Bulgarian split squats. Always keep that in there, rear foot elevated. Whether that's
Mhm,
with a barbell, dumbbells by your side, goblet position, front rack, barbells, safety, squat bar, whatever. I'm just gonna always have a Bulgarian split squat variation.
yeah,
And, I would prefer that. Like the rest of my list, I don't have a bilateral squat and I'm okay with that. I'm good with just the Bulgarians, honestly.
mhm,
Next one, again, I don't like I said, none of these are surprising. Pull-ups. Pull-up variations,
mhm.
chin-ups, neutral grip, normal pull-ups, tempo, weighted, all that. So, there's that one. And then last one, just, like, heavy carries, and I just put carries as, like, a blanket, right? Like, whether that's a D-ball carry,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
stone carry, farmer's carry, overhead carry, front
Huh,
rack carry, offset carry, whatever.
mhm.
I just think, like, I really like working my grip, and then I do think, like, the times where I was, like, the strongest, like, overall strong, like, I had a very strong core, my full body, it was when I was doing a lot of carries. So, that's just one I think I would it translates really well to everything, and I would keep in. So, those are the 5. Right, like, I'm not training for anything specific, I just wanna be, like, as strong as I can be and just, like, be healthy and enjoy my training, and those are the
Yeah,
5 that I think hit all those marks. If I was training for something more specific, if I was an athlete, maybe there are some things I would take out and put in, but for right now, like, for me, that
that's a great list, dude. Your list made me feel like I'm a fucking
I'm
loser.
curious what yours are
It's
and
so
what
good. I have a question for about carries because I have a very strong opinion about carries, but if you could give any advice to our listeners about carrying things, because I do think it's maybe just my version of the algorithm, but I see a lot of stuff arguing about carries online, like whether to do them, whether not to do them,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. If you could give advice to people about doing carries, do you have any advice for that?
Like, in terms of how to do them or, like, how they should approach 'em?
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going as
yeah,
heavy
yeah.
as you can. Like, I think it should
Okay.
yeah, it should
Perfect.
challenge, right, like, the movement. Like, if you're doing an overhead carry, like, the hardest part should be, like, towards the end when you're finishing the distance or whatever time, but also, like, the beginning part to even get them in the overhead position, right? Like, you're actually challenging everything, and, like, I think for me, I feel like I've done them appropriately is when I feel like the next day I could feel like the muscles that have been worked, like in my forearms, which I normally don't feel in any other movement. Or if I'm doing overhead carry, like
Mhm.
sometimes I'll get some like crazy weird soreness where I don't feel them anywhere else. So it's like, okay, it's like, because that's what, like the way I program them, like that's what they're intended for is to like supplement everything else that I'm not doing and like challenge things that I'm not challenging in other movements. So if I'm going like farmer's carry, like I'm gonna go very heavy because like I could go heavy on
Yeah.
barbell RDL. Sorry, I need to get I need to I like, if I
Yes.
go heavy on a barbell RDL, that's challenging my grip, but not to the extent if I'm doing a farmer's carry with, like, 100 pounds
Yeah.
on each side, right? And I'm okay if I have my posture isn't perfect, like, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that, as long as I'm not, like, crouched over and looking, like, horrible, right?
Full
Exactly,
shrimp mode.
full shrimp mode, like, then that's when you know
Yeah.
it's like, "Okay, this could be potentially, like,
Yeah.
not okay." But, like,
Mhm.
slightly rounded here and, like, may not be the prettiest, but, like, I'm really challenging my grip, and by the end of it, the dumbbells are slipping out, like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
So, I think that's how people should approach it is, like, actually challenge the weight and not focus so much on that perfect posture, form, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. I agree, especially carrying stuff. I just think, yeah, the, like, propensity to
Yeah,
get injured
yeah,
is so low. Like, I would bet the, like, the moment is, like, w when you're doing farmer's carries is when you pick them up,
yeah,
like, if they're that heavy. Like, other than that, you're just
yeah.
carrying shit and walking, like, there's no, you know I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like so low side risk with a potential high payout. I just see so much criticism online about farmers carries and that it's like, what does it really do? And it's like, yeah, I mean if you've never done really heavy farmers carries or any carries for like a few weeks, you're right. I can see why you not felt any
Mhm.
benefits from it. It's like if you are relatively strong and grabbing, like, 35s in each hand and you're kinda
Yeah,
like, "Alright, I'm done." It's like, yeah, they're not gonna feel hard, but, like track bar carries, like doing farmer's walks with a trap bar, like, you can load up
right.
really fucking heavy, and your whole upper back is
Yeah,
fried, like, fried. So, I agree, really heavy, like, as heavy as
right.
your grips can hold. Sometimes, like, as heavy as you can pick up. If you can go, like, 20
And even
seconds,
like an ISO hold or
sweet.
like you're saying, like just standing there with it. I think yeah, and they're fun. I think they challenge the body in a different way. It's kind of like your whole system is being worked versus like something a
Mhm.
little bit more isolated. For like, when I'm doing dips, I'm not really feeling it in my legs, obviously. Like, but I think I know, crazy. Farmers
What
carries
the
pretty
hell?
much like it has more of a global response in my opinion, with some more varying degrees, but it is more global and again, the way I like to approach it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny too, I feel like it's kinda like in the strength world and the functional bros don't have the death grip on the
Mhm.
farmers carries, where I feel like the functional bros should be, like, all over the
Right.
farmer's carry, it's like locomotion and loading the spine and, like, letting the engine work
Yeah.
under like, all that weird whatever. So it's like the functional bros they haven't even found out yet. I'm guessing that at some point, all these functional bros be like, "You guys see these farmers carries?" And they're gonna rename them something super
Yeah.
sick, and be like, "These are our carries." They're called,
Yeah.
I don't know, luteal carries. Shout out to luteal carries. Anywho, okay, my list. Damn, dude, you fucking convinced me. I can't change mine because I can't also have carries. It seems not good, but I forgot, dude. Okay, this is a very
Uh-huh.
specific one. Is a Hatfield safety bar reverse lunge. So just like hand
Okay.
supported for anyone who doesn't know what a Hatfield is. I also don't have a bilateral squat in here, and I'm fine with that because similar to Bulgarians, like the safety bar reverse lunge, I can just load the piss out of. And I like it because my quads can get fried if I change the
Mhm.
form up a little bit, like if I put my heel lifter on and then just focus on a little
Mhm.
more knee drive. But my adductors get fried, my quad gets fried, my glute gets fried, like my whole leg. Sometimes I feel like my hamstrings are sore from doing safety bar reverse lunges, like lowering the weight down. Like if I'm at like 315 for a 6, my entire leg is
Yeah.
is gone for like the soreness, the tiredness. So those are my number one. I think that's like the best leg exercise I've ever done. And that I think almost includes against my traditional
Yeah.
barbell back squat. Like I have felt more progress in terms of leg strength from a safety bar reverse lunge than I have from squatting,
Oh, yeah.
I think. Now, do I have any actual data to support this in terms of, like, did I do a test where I, like, squatted only and then lunged only? No. And does it really cross over? Because, like, if I'm squatting all the time, then I'm getting good at squatting as a skill, you know? And if I'm lunging more anyway, I just feel like I get more work out of my whole leg in terms of, like, effort and perceived exertion and soreness and the size of my leg and how strong my legs feel from lunging than I ever did
Yeah.
from squatting.
And you know what? Now that you mention it, like, I didn't have the bilateral squat either. And for me, I also feel it more like I just feel like my legs get stronger. And again, I don't have any data or anything to support it for myself, but I just feel like my
Mhm.
legs get stronger when I do like single leg exercises. And one thing with me, I think you know this about me, but I have one leg that's longer than the other. That's like it's kind of significant. I want to say it's it's like a I
Mhm.
want to say like an inch or two. Like it's not like just small. It's pretty
She
yeah.
walks around like
And
she's
when
got a
I do
big leg like
bilateral
this.
squats, I feel myself, I'm always, like, tilted, and I'm like, "There we go," and, like,
Yeah.
everything's just, like, at an angle, just being supported by one leg, but when I do obviously, the split squats help a lot with that, just, like, making sure that I'm getting, like, an even distribution versus, like, one leg doing all the work and the other leg just, like,
Yeah.
essentially just being a stance leg. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lunges are the longer I do this,
Yeah.
lunges are just goated. They're
Yeah.
so good. And I know why people hate them. Like, we've talked about this. I know you've done so many squats. Like, I've squatted until my eyes bleed. Safety bar squats, hand supported squats, machine squats, barbell squats. Like, I've done all the squats, front squats. Like, I'm good at
Mhm.
squatting. And, like, I've made my legs sore, but yeah, there's just something about heavy loaded lunges. And I've said this on my Instagram many times. I've said this on here. When I say heavy loaded lunges, I don't mean like 100 pounds. I mean, like when I was doing lunges all the time, I was doing like 3 sets of six at like 315 to
Mhm.
340 on the bar. So I'm still loading the bar r- close to as heavy as I do squatting, and then most of that is
Yeah.
on one leg. And it's like, how can I not be getting more? Like, just, yeah, you're right. Anecdotally, no science behind this. There's no movement where I'm like, "Fuck, this feels like there's so much effort
Yeah.
coming out of my leg," and it just doesn't always feel that with squats. Does not at all. Okay, second exercise, barbell RDLs. I agree. Again, maybe like in the variations, like I can do
Mhm.
single leg RDLs. Another thing where like RDLs are great. I feel my ass, I feel my hamstrings. Single leg RDLs are also have entered my list of, like, one of
Mm.
my favorite exercises. Heavy too, like, I got up to 185 the other day doing single leg RDLs, and it was just like, I could get to, like, 7 reps before my whole leg was just like, "Well, I'm out." Not the other day, this was, like, 3 weeks ago. Again, shout out depression. Dude, the dips was a good answer. You kept saying stuff, and I kept being like, "Fuck, dude, she's so much smarter than me." I have a barbell incline
I love a
bench
good
press
incline
instead
bench.
of
Yeah.
dips. Yeah, dude. It's just something about it. It's
Yeah.
just good. They're just right. It feels right. Yeah, I mean dips, dude, like the mobility in your shoulders, the stretch on the front delt, the range of motion you can do, the grip changes you can do. I think dips are just probably better. I think you're right. But I'm sticking with a plan here. I'm going barbell RDLs. My pulls though, I did do croc rows and I
Okay.
stand by them. If you're listening, you don't know what a croc row is, it is just like a 3-point row where you get a little bit more English, like a little bit more rotation. Like I'm letting my spine kind of twist a little bit more. I feel like it puts some stress on my obliques and helps me get some rotation on my back, which is what I'm normally trying to do because my back is stiff sometimes. Uh, and they're just so fun. Like there's nothing more fun to me than hee-hawing a little bit of rowing, you know? And rowing is I'm really strong at rowing. Like I think my backside is really strong, so rows are always fun. I don't really like pressing that much to be honest. My last one is decline loaded
That's a
sit-ups.
good one. Yeah.
And as a core hater, the reason they made this on my list is because it's one of the only exercises I really like doing that's
Yeah.
direct core loading. But yeah, like a pad and an ab mat in your, like, lower back area with your toes tucked under something with a kettlebell, or on, like, an actual decline, like
I
a
was gonna
GHD
say
or
because
something, but
GHDs
just,
are
like, doing
GHD sit-ups are my, like, all-time favorite core exercise.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're just great. They're great. They're so good. Mobility too, like, you just get so much movement out of the
yeah,
spine from those. But yeah, decline loaded sit-ups have to be on my last. So reverse lunges, RDLs, incline presses, croc rows, and decline loaded
it's a good
sit-ups.
list.
Yeah. I it didn't I didn't feel like it didn't even take us long to
No.
pick those.
I mean, I think I'm sure you do this too, but, like, when I write my workouts, like, I kinda surround it around those things, like, I'm always doing an RDL. There's a split squat, Bulgarian split squat at least once a week. Dips, doing it all the time. Pull-ups, I do 2 to 3 times a week. Carries, I always do,
Mhm.
like, one variation at least once a week. So, right, like, every time I write, like, a new workout for myself, I'm w like, those are like, I basically have that list in my head. I'm, like, just trying to space it out, and then everything else is just,
Mhm.
like, you know, random thoughts that just
Yeah.
pop up.
Dude, I think if you took either of our workouts and, like, if you ran your workout on Monday, my workout on Wednesday, and then you took your workout again on Friday and just
Uh-huh.
flipped the order and just, like, made some alterations to, like, the exercise. I mean, like, Monday you do, like, a kickstand RDL, Wednesday you do, like, a single
Yeah.
leg, or you do, like, an RDL and then a single leg or a kickstand, and then, I don't know, like, a semi single leg
Mhm.
on the day 3. You could just, like, you could just run these
That's
workouts
yeah.
with very small changes, and I think you're right. I think this is how I
Yeah.
write my
At
program
least
all
for
the time.
myself, right? Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
put very little, like, thought when I'm writing my own workouts, 'cause I'm I'll go in, if I don't like it, I'll change it, and I'll know what to change it to. So it's like I just kinda jot down ideas, but I
Yeah.
kinda do that where I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna do, like, a rear foot elevated split squat one day. The next day, it's gonna be, like, a split front foot elevated split squat, single leg RDL, bilateral
Mhm.
barbell RDL, dips, and then maybe I'll instead of doing dips, I'll do, like, a overhead press the next day." Pull-ups, I'm always gonna have I do different variation of pull-ups every time I do training.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then carries, right? You just kinda fuck around with carries. I literally do just do whatever I feel like that day.
Mhm. Dude, that's so fun. I've done this with, our soccer
Uh-huh.
player at block, where I give him jumps in his, like, his opener. He, like, warms up for a little bit and then does jumps over those yellow, jumping sticks, and then in the note, I just put, "Do whatever you want." Like, jump however you want to. So, like, similar with the carry, sometimes it's fun to, like, just put, like, even in my program, I'll put carries, farmer's carries for 2 days, but I know that I'm just gonna do whatever
Yeah.
carry I want to.
Right.
And just, like, have just playing with it. And, like, he'll do for the soccer kid, he'll do, like, single leg jump, single leg to two-leg landing. He'll, like, jump and spin. Like, I've really encouraged him to just, like I'm like, "Dude, just jump with a really high effort, but just, like, jump over the yellow thing as high as you can, however you want to." And he was like, "What about a running jump?" I was like, "Dude, I don't care. Like, all I need you to do is do, like, 25 to 30 jumps at a really high effort and just have as
Right.
much fun as possible." And he was like, "I could do that." And I
Perfect.
was like, "Alright, sick, dude." So, like, same with the carries. It's like, is it really that important? No.
Yeah.
Just grab something fucking
I used
heavy.
to do that with, when I was doing,
So
like, CrossFit and I would, like, have to train skills. And that I would just give
mhm,
myself, like, 10 minutes. It's like a 10-minute timer, just do bar muscle up play. Meaning, like, just 10 minutes, just do different
mhm,
drills, kip, swing, if I like then, do some bar muscle up attempts, try to string them together, add a band, and just, like, based on what I felt that day and, like, how I was feeling, and I would just be like, "Alright, just 10 minutes of bar muscle up play. Okay, next day, 10 minutes of handstand walking play." And I don't know, it helped a lot. Cause
yeah,
yeah, like you were saying, you give them the instruction of, like, "Hey, do whatever you want, max intent." And then if someone is
mhm,
he's a smart kid. He gets to choose and he's playing around, but you get the stimulus you want, which is max intent, especially because he likes it
absolutely,
and he has a little bit of a
mhm,
say in there. And like that helped with me with learning the skills because like I'm not good at skill acquisition. Like I'll be the first to tell you, like suck at that stuff, like, just learning movements and all that. I'm one of those, like, slow people.
Yeah.
So, like, having some autonomy and, like, being able to, like, do something based on how I feel and what I wanna do helps me a lot with getting to those skills, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's like it needs to have some structure, but it can't
Yeah,
be that, rigid. And for some people it is, some people need
right.
the rigidity, but
Yeah.
handle that with your therapist. So yeah, okay, those are exercises. I like those exercises. Those came out
Yeah.
so easy. I thought I was gonna have to think about them, but
Yeah.
I did not. I did not, especially because you're right. It's like my entire training plan is made up of
Exactly.
these things with some alterations. With carries in there, I do put carries in there. I do
Yeah.
like a good
I do
carry.
too.
Did we talk about our lost Oh, we did talk about our run on the last podcast, didn't we? Have we talked about that? The,
Yes. Yep, yep, the
Ragnar?
Ragnar. That'll be
Okay.
fun.
Okay, everyone's up to date on our Ragnar.
Yes.
Perfect.
What I feel like I signed up for something recently. I don't think I have, I don't think I have. We'll see.
Weren't you gonna do another High
I
Rocks at
was,
the end of
there's
the
one
year?
happening this upcoming weekend and the next weekend, and that's in New York City. When I went to sign up, which was the day that it opened, but apparently sold out in
Uh-huh.
10 minutes. I was in class, so I wasn't able to
Whoa,
do it, and so
that's
once I logged in
crazy.
to get tickets, like, after class, they were done. They were I know, which is a
No.
bummer because like, me and Marley really wanted to do it, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think, like yeah, she would have done really well in it. Yeah,
Damn, dude, that sucks.
so that's a bummer, but
Huh.
I'll do another one eventually. I just really liked it. It was fun. Like, we had a fun time, so I'm,
Yeah.
like, looking forward to doing another one. Yeah,
Yeah. That'd be sick, dude.
yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just be a little bit of a cardio boy. A little
You're gonna be a
cardio
cardio
bunny.
bunny?
I'm gonna be a cardio bunny. Yeah, I'm gonna get, like, super short shorts and,
Oh, yeah,
white socks and
yeah.
running shoes and
Yep, you
little
gotta do the
running
running
hats,
hat.
dude. I'll carry some IPAs with
Yeah,
me, you know what I'm saying?
get, like,
It'll be great. I'll live at La Buzz.
what else is you gotta get, like, a Garmin watch, buy all the gels. Yes, yeah,
Just
just
live
live
on
on gels.
gels.
Yeah,
Just at work, like, "Hang on, I've been coaching a little
yep,
bit too long.
exactly.
Let me take a gel real quick to
Yep,
keep my energy up."
yeah.
Oh god. Alright, that was a good do you have any other questions? Got anything is on your mind you wanna spew about?
No.
I need to do that day in the life. I just don't have any fun ones. I should have done it on the Murph
Yeah,
and just videotaped that, but again, it would have been one of those just, like, heavy
yeah, I know,
breathing
those are
ones,
always tough to film.
Yeah, where I'm just, like, breathing like a
Yeah.
cave person.
You know what's
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Huh. No,
I
no,
was
no, go
having this
ahead.
discussion with someone at work today because they were saying, one of our coworkers got sick from doing the Murph. He's not used to doing that type of training, right? So he did the Murph and he's
Mhm.
sick. The week prior, his wife was sick. So obviously he probably got contacted with something and it was dormant for, at least he was
Mhm.
exposed to it, it was dormant, whatever, did the Murph. Not stimulus he's not used to. It's probably considered excessive exercise for him in terms of, like, cardiovascular type
Sure.
of training, and now he's sick. And so it was interesting because I was having this discussion with my other coworker, and he was saying, like, "Isn't this what, like, your research is all about, right? It's, like, exercise immunology stuff."
Mhm.
And then we were having this discussion because I was telling him, like, "Yeah, like, honestly, this whole semester, right, was kinda rough for me, and I've been very vocal about that. I feel like everyone knows that about me. And I'm like, but it was a different type of stress that I was exposed to, but even at that, right, stress is stress. And there was this it was interesting because I was reading a bunch of papers and all that, now that I have time, and there was one about a research that was done in around World War II era, and that's where there was
Mhm.
kind of like a boom in exercise immunology because trying to they have a better understanding of the immune system and what gets mobilized with exercise and all that started coming out in the 1940s. And then they started thinking like, okay, if someone is sick, do we prescribe them exercise to get them recovered faster or should we prescribe them complete bed rest? And then there's all this conflicting
Mhm.
conflicting research out there about it. But there was one that I thought was really interesting that had to do with monkeys during the World War II era, which makes me really sad. I don't like research on monkeys, but valuable, yes. Would I
Mhm.
ever do it? I found out that I cannot because I would cry every day, but that's a different story. But they had 3 groups of monkeys. There was one group that did cardio exercise to exhaustion in a pool. So they were
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
exercise to exhaustion in a pool, so extreme exercise. There was another group of monkeys that was essentially on land, so they were like in a
Mhm.
cage living their normal captive lives because they are lab monkeys, so they're on land. And then there was a group that was in the pool, but they weren't doing exercise. They were in stray jackets, so there was no exercise. They were just floating there, right? So again, that's not
What
yeah,
the
that's not
fuck?
a setting that they're used to, so you could just imagine there's stress involved. And what they did was they exposed each of those monkeys in each group with the polio virus and saw what's gonna happen to
My
them
god!
once we expose them. Like, is there gonna be a difference in terms of each group? The
Yeah.
group that was in the water doing exercise in the water, a good chunk of them, I wanna say the percentage was 52%, but don't quote me on that.
Quoted. We're quoting her.
They got,
Correct quote.
polio virus. That not polio vi they were exposed to polio virus. They became quadriplegic. So, what they've noticed is that when someone is exposed to polio and they do exercise, the working muscles tend to get paralyzed. So 52% of
My
them
god.
became
Mhm.
quadriplegic and then there was another percentage that were just didn't become quadriplegic, but still were exposed to at least one limb being paralyzed. The group that was on land, not doing exercise, didn't experience much symptoms or extreme cases of quadriplegic,
What?
just like the other group. So again, now that between those 2 groups, you can see that exercise
Mhm.
creates some type of immunosuppression at some point, right? Especially to exhaustion.
Mhm.
The group that was not doing exercise, but they were in a highly stressful environment in the water also experienced a high level of quadriplegic monkeys and paralysis. So showing like,
Whoa.
hey, the body responds
Stress is
yeah, very
stress.
similarly, right? Like musculoskeletally, there's a difference between exercise and just being in a stressful position. But there's a lot of very, very similar pathways. It's the same things are being like in the neuroendocrine system are being turned on by stress, regardless if it's stress in exercise or stress in just a situation like
Mhm.
that. So in my case, right, like the semester of stress with like just studying a lot and just, trying to meet standards that these imaginary standards I set myself stressed me out, got sick a lot. I was getting like, upper respiratory infections, all that stuff. And then in this case, like someone going through acute stress that they're not used to, like going through a MRF and all that, and they were exposed to a virus before,
Yeah.
they get sick. So, very interesting stuff,
Whoa.
I think, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there, like, what if you do a little bit less, you know?
So there's studies that show and most of them have been done in mice, but there's some that have been done in
Uh-huh.
other animals too, but the most popular, like, mice studies that were done mostly in the '80s, they show there's, like, 2 big ones. One that they gave the mice a virus beforehand and then exposed them to
Mhm.
exercise, and then there's also studies that gave the mice exercise and then exposed them to the virus after. But essentially if they had levels of exercise. So there was extreme exercise, then there was moderate exercise, and then there was sedentary. And the ones that
Uh-huh.
had the highest survival rate and lowest morbidity rate are those that did moderate exercise.
'Kay, so a little bit of
Yes, and
exercise
that
and then
goes into the
rest.
theory it's this huge exercise immunology theory of the J curve, right? So it's like the x-axis shows sedentary, like, activity level, right? So low activity level to very extremely high, and then the y-axis is upper respiratory infection rate or risk. And at the lower
Yeah.
end, when someone is sedentary, lower activity level, that the graph is a J shape, right? So the lower end of activity, sedentary, there is a moderate to high risk of upper respiratory upper respiratory infection rate, and then that decreases with exercise activities until you're moderate,
Yeah.
and that's how I would describe like the GPP level person, like the normal life person. They should be working out 3 times a week, doing some type of cardio for X amount of minutes, whatever. And then extreme cardio or extreme activity, think of like athletes where this is like their whole life and they're working out hours a day, that shoots up drastically the risk of
Yeah.
upper respiratory infection. So it's yeah, so there's a
Mm,
sweet spot. Mechanistically, we don't know why that happens. That's like a current area of research of like
God, no.
why is there like this like why is there a sweet spot?
Yeah.
What's causing this suppression with extreme exercise,
Sure.
but yeah, it's
That's so
so
cool.
interesting.
So a little bit of
Yeah,
exercise is
and actually,
fine, a
it's
lot of
like
exercise bad, a
honestly,
lot
a
of
little bit of
stress.
exercise is like brings up your immune system, right? So there's like this
Mhm.
immunosurveillance that happens, but yeah.
It's just so interesting how much stress
I know.
plays a role and how
Yeah,
little
I
people think
know,
of it,
I know.
you know? All the time at the gym, people are, and this is no knock on anyone, but they're, working out twice a week at a pretty low intensity. They're like just getting back into fitness. And I know that their life is like chaos, like
Yeah,
it's super stressful. But they're like, it must be the gym, that's why, XYZ. And I'm always like, how stressed are you? And they're like, oh my, the most stressed I've ever been in my life. And I'm like, okay, maybe the like 8 hours a day of you being the most stressed you've ever been in your whole life may, now call me crazy here, may be having an effect on your life more than the like 80 minutes of
yeah,
exercise you're doing. And maybe it's like 80 minutes of exercising where you get away from that like is the good thing. But like, are you saying that you want to get rid of the 2 days a week you're doing this so that you can add another hour of crazy stress to your life? That
yeah.
kind of sounds nuts to me, but that's fine. Like, I think people don't give any credence to how much their life stress
I
fucks
know.
them up, you know, at
I
all.
know, and it honestly, like, I never have either until recently because, 1, I'm learning about it, and as I'm getting
Yeah.
older, right, your body response is not as robust as it was when it
Mhm.
was younger, and that yeah, I know,
No, no,
I know, I
no.
don't wanna be that type of person that says, like, "I'm getting older, so I feel like shit," but there are some, considerations that I have, as I get older. I still feel great, but,
Yeah,
I don't bounce back as fast, but, yeah, it's kinda, like, crazy, and I think it's so interesting. Yeah.
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 It's wild. It's wild. And then that's what you're doing your doctorate in.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
really
sick.
interesting stuff and, running with a backpack ain't easy, so
Yeah. Yes. What did we call it? The effect of backpack on mitochondria,
yeah.
the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, that's a good so good.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you, our true fans out there. I'm sorry to anyone who I might have said mean things about last podcast who may be a better runner than me. Whatever. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share this with someone. We like doing the podcast. Dave, we have to get David on.
Yes,
We have to get
yes.
David on the podcast. We must get him on
I
the
think you
pod.
set up okay.
I'll text him.
You
What'd
set
you
up
say?
a group chat with him last time, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'll message him. Message group chat, get him on here. Yeah, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. We want to answer them. We were getting comments for a while, and now you guys are just drying up on us. Crazy. It's almost like we weren't posting regularly. Anywho, we'll be back. What episode is this? This is episode
26.
26.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah, that's all.
See ya.
Thanks. Any parting words, Dave?
No, I got nothing.
Dude, I'll get you one of these days. You're like, no, leave me out of
See
this.
ya.
All right, later.